Do you love American music? Have you ever heard of The Turkey Fought Back, Twerking with a Twang, or A Song About Us? Danaya Azure Radio is now sponsored by UncleRional.com. You can check out all of these incredible international hits and grab some phenomenal merch at www.UncleRional.com. They have gear for the entire family. T-shirts, hoodies, koozies, travel mugs, mouse pads, and so much more. That's www.UncleRional.com. Tell them Danaya Azure sent you.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy CBarz, and you're tuned into the Danaya Azure Radio. Get tuned in real quick, ready to turn up.
Hello, CBarz. Welcome to Danaya Azure Radio. How are you?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I am phenomenal. So I got to connect with the phenomenal CBarz through the fam, Keisha Dennis of Upskill Tax Professionals. So how did you originally connect with Keisha?
Yo, shout out to Big Keisha. It's a wild, random connection, to be truthful. I wound up getting on Clubhouse a few years back, just promoting my brand, just trying to see who I could connect with on there. And I found myself in a weird space on Clubhouse because if you've never been on Clubhouse, there's a lot of ways to get lost on there. So like my first 12 to 24 hours on there was like, maybe this isn't it. So I found out I can create my own room. So
gotcha.
Yep. So once I did that, I just put out a title, Productive Smokers Club, just to see who would tap in and chime in or whatever. And within the first like 3 hours or so, Keisha, along with a few others, that came in and been consistent. And the beauty in that was, at that time, I was looking for a financial advisor.
So, gotcha.
Yeah, because along with being an artist, I'm an entrepreneur as well. So
right.
I had been going through financial issues as far as like, making a lot of money and not being able to keep it all, you know what I mean? Or see the fruits from my labors. And I'm like, something not adding up. So
like the math ain't mathing.
You know what I mean? So and this time I'm just like, I gotta find a financial advisor. I'm figuring out how to go about it. And I'm just chatting on Clubhouse, just chopping it up, just building with folks. And then here she comes. Hey, I do taxes. I'm a financial advisor, blah, blah, blah. And really, like, it was deeper than that, of course, you know what I mean? But that was the bleeping headlight. So from there, I hired her as my tax professional. I was like, look, I need my taxes done. I need to learn a little bit. And from there, we wound up learning a lot from each other as far as like about each other. And she was just like, you know what, you would be really good in this field. So it went from being a Clubhouse homie to being my tax professional to now that's big homie, you know what I mean? And she got me working with upscale tax professionals as well. So yeah, that's our relationship. That's how I got to meet Miss Keisha Dennis.
I love it. So how did you originally get into music?
So I want to say probably when I was like 5 or 6. I used to go to choir rehearsal with my grandmother. And I can't remember his name. I want to say it's Herschel Walker we did a recording with. Like my earliest ages. Like me and my brother did some background singer for him and a couple other kids or whatever. So that kind of like got my interest peaked or whatever. But throughout my whole life, I've always been surrounded around music, affected by it. And I started rapping when I was like 13, but before that, I had an interest in piano, drums, played the saxophone at 12. So I've always been involved in music, always loved it.
I love that. I think people don't understand that, like, when you are a lyricist, you still need to be involved in other music because that's how you make your song sound different. That's how you can have the conversation with the producer to say, nah, this piano don't sound right. This guitar doesn't sound right. You can tell that a true musician can tell the difference between a live guitar and an electronic
Yeah,
guitar,
yeah,
right? A true musician can tell the difference between live drums and something that's a drum pad. So and so when you are an artist, you want to have some kind of music knowledge so that you can have the conversation like, no, that doesn't sound like it's live. If you can make it sound more real, that'd be great. Or if you can find somebody that can do it, for an affordable price, that'd be awesome. But if
yep.
you want something live, you want that to be done. You can have that argument because you can be like, no, I can tell this isn't what I asked for.
No, literally, it's like a chef in their palate. You know what I mean? Like they could taste the plate and break down everything in it. You know what I mean? They could tell what ingredients was used, how long what was cooked. So like me being around different instruments, different forms of music, even on the digital side, I'm able to pick up on things, and it helps me with my craft. You know what I mean? When I'm
Right.
picking beats for myself, or when I'm doing sound checks at the shows before I perform and stuff like that. So it's definitely a difference between, I feel, um, rappers and musicians. You know what I mean? That's why I
Yes.
always big myself up on being an artist, because it's a little bit different.
Right. So how did you get the name CBarz?
Oh man.
Wait, the way that you sighed though.
Cause man, like it's weird. It's weird, right? So earlier on, I wasn't allowed to like really rap in the ciphers with my homies. Like I'm very good at beatboxing. So they was like,
Gotcha.
one, they was like, yo, we need you for the beatboxing. Two, they just kept it real. They was like, yo, your bars ain't up yet. You know what I'm saying? You're not there with us yet. You know what I'm saying? So
Gotcha.
low key, it was like, I used to just by myself endless nights and mornings practice just out of nowhere. Randomly, people think I'm just talking to myself, but I'm just going over lines in my head. And one particular day, I'm sitting there in my room, and I had the Beatles and Jimi Hendrix on, and I would freestyle over the beat breaks in their records, like the intros and the outros to their songs and the intermissions.
Mhm.
So I would, wherever I could catch a good long beat. And if you know anything about old music, their songs were really long back in the day.
Yep.
And even I like word to Isaac Hayes, they have extensive like sections of the song where it's just
Mhm.
instrumentation. There's no lyrics. So
Right.
I would get funky in those parts. And one day I'm sitting there, and I don't even know how long I was doing it for. Like I said, it was like Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, just in that rotation that day. And my cousin came knocking on the door. He was like, "Yo, you good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good." He's like, "Yeah, I hear you in here." He's like, "Yo, you talking to somebody or something?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm cool." So I told him what I was doing. He was like, "Nah, you wasn't rapping over that, bro. You tripping?" Like, "Nah, you wasn't doing that." So what he did was he put me through a Russian roulette. He just started picking instrumentals out of nowhere, and we got to "I Really Mean It" by Dipset. And I didn't realize he did it, but he was like, "Yo, I looped that beat like 4 times. Like I had that jump replay like 4 times, and you didn't stop, not once. Didn't pause to take a breath. Didn't pause to take a break. Not
Wow.
nothing." And it was songs that was played before he did that. So he was just like, "What do you call yourself?" Like, I don't know, bro. I don't got no name. Like, I was into other things at that time in life too. So like
Right.
coming up with gimmick names and stuff, I was just like, bro, I'm not into that. Like, what? Like, I'm just me, bro. Just it is what it is. He was like, "Yeah, I see bars, yo. When I see you, I see bars,
Oh,
bro."
nice.
And ironically enough, my first name is Chris. So
Right.
I was like, that's pretty tough, yo. That's pretty decent right there. Yeah. I like that. I like that. And then as as I grew into my artistry, I started going around other people, and they was like, "Yo, like you got bars, bro. What's your name?" Bars. And they're like, "Yo, nah, like really, my name is Bars. It just fits." So that's how I got the name CBarz.
I love it. And CBarz is next to Danaya Azure Radio. So, what was the very first song that you ever wrote?
The very first song I ever wrote. There was my first album I did, Soon You'll Understand. And I want to say the first song off that album I wrote was, it may have been Whirlwind.
Okay.
Hmm. That's the tricky question because that's the other thing. I barely write. So
Gotcha.
even shout out to my cousin Berner, who actually got me into the studio, who made a way for me to record, who gave me some structure to my
Right.
artistry. When I first started, like I said, I was just off the top of my head.
Right.
And he made me start writing. So the funny thing about it is probably like the first 3 albums I ever did, it was I'd spit it, then I'd go back and write it later, just so I could practice it and get it down to bar structure and everything else. Because due to my history in music, I never really counted my bars at first as far as structurally. Like it was just automatic where I would end a bar, start, end a bar, start, where a lot of people struggle with that.
Right.
It was easy for me. So the writing part became difficult because I felt constricted in the writing at first.
Right.
So now I can, I'm ambidextrous with it. I can go either way. But yeah, I know the first album I wrote was Soon You'll Understand, and I want to say it was Whirlwind, the very first song that I wrote. Everything I ever did before that was just off the top of my head.
Wow, that's awesome.
Thank you.
So what was that song about?
So Whirlwind was pretty much just about living in a world of chaos, drama, and making the best decisions that you can. It's a song describing me at that time, what I was going through, as far as like, I'm up one day and then I get knocked back on my tail the next. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I still got to keep pushing. I still got to make moves. I still got to make decisions for people, myself. And from the outside in, it's like, what is going on with this dude? You could think anything, you know what I mean? But it's really a whirlwind that I'm going through. So yeah. So it was like it was a song just talking about like me releasing my depression, my anger on certain things, you know what I mean, and still having to live in the world that I'm in today. You know what I mean?
Right. What has been one of the main obstacles that you've had to overcome as an artist?
Being an artist and an entrepreneur is kind of like difficult because the entrepreneur side would have made it a lot easier for me to excel, quote unquote, in the music industry, because you think of everything just straight business when you're on the entrepreneur level, like everything is just business. But being an artist, that constricts your creativity because a lot of things that you want to do or you feel you're most passionate about don't sell. Or let me rephrase that. When I started doing music, that was the montage. Like you had a strict formula to follow, and if you wasn't along that formula, then you had to have either somebody with big pockets supporting you or some enormous connections that won't falter on you.
So for those who don't understand, who are like just tuning in, don't really know about music and how it works when it comes to the back end, can you kind of explain what the quote unquote formula that you're initially expected to follow goes?
Yes, ma'am. Like I tell all my younger artists, everybody that's getting into the fields, like it is called the music business. The biggest part of it is the business. So the formula is simple yet complex. So it's like you have to have money. Let's just be real. If you want to go amongst the perfect formula to have, you got to have money, you got to have connections, and you have to have content. Now, those 3 things, can seem, easy enough.
Like if you really want to thrive, it really is about building relationships. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing. I think a lot of people forget that piece. Like that's so important. And it's not just about liking things, commenting and sharing, which is incredibly important, but like, comment, share. When your friend has a show, go to it if you can. If your friend shows online, buy the ticket online and attend that way. Like that's the biggest thing that I think that we struggle with as a generation now, right?
Yeah.
Like, the new kids don't understand the importance of going to concerts and like just going to concerts to go. You know, you want to stream the whole thing, and it's like, I get it, but then at the same token, you have to be very careful because the artists that you're going to worked incredibly hard on the show. They have their own people they're typically filming because they want it to look a certain way. And it ruins it if you're up here just like, you know, jumping up and down and shaking around or whatever. And then it's like, you've already ruined the surprise. So be very cautious. There are some shows that obviously you can stream at, but if they tell you don't do it out of respect for the artist that you say you love. Because they're doing it because they want to be able to sell that product later. And as many hours that you don't see that they put into this work, that you're making this amazing show for you, that's months and months and sometimes years worth of work in order to be able to get that product. So they want to be able to sell it. And as they should, because shoot.
I'm telling you, like, nobody understands, like, you know, what it takes to actually create this stuff. You know what I mean?
They don't. They don't because the problem is that we have too many people now that see the actor. They don't see the hours in the studio, like you were saying, going over your songs several times to make sure that they sound crisp when you walk in. Like, my biggest pet peeve when it comes to artists, your studio session is not your party.
Nope.
Your studio, unless it is in your home or in your friend's home, and you guys are chilling and like, hey, let's go make a record. That's one thing. When you go to the studio and you're paying for studio time, and you invite other people to come with you to work at the studio, it's working. You might have a couple minutes, to might have a little bit of a drink, have a little bit of food. But outside of that, you're working. It's not your place to bring your whole crew and just chill at the studio. That's not how this works. Because that's what people waste so much time and energy and drain their co-creators.
Every time.
You say I want to collab, but then when the person comes to collab, they're sitting up there and they're waiting for you to finish whatever drink, smoke, whatever conversation that you're doing with your boys over here, this and that. As opposed to getting to the mic, like they're ready to jump in, and they're sitting there like, okay, can we set the song yet? Like, what's happening? Like, what do you mean it's not written yet? Like, we have to write the song and do this and do that? Like, that wasn't the concept was come and sing and be done.
Nah, for me, it's I gotta be in there like dolo. Like, I like going to the studio either by myself or like with one or two close homies. Like, you know what I mean? And for the most part, they around just to, you know what I'm saying, bounce off perspectives. Like, yeah, you can tweak that verse a little bit better, or like you can project over here a little bit better. Like,
Oh, wait, your friends actually tell you when something's wrong so they don't come up with a crappy track when it's done?
Oh yeah, I keep those type of homies around. I don't like, you know what I mean? I don't like the people that's just gonna be like, oh, that don't sound hard. That don't sound nah. Like, tell me the truth, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's up?
Artists, please listen to this situation, because I think what people don't understand is get them people from around you quick.
Yeah, facts.
Your whole career.
I mean, and don't get it twisted. Like, when I'm in the studio, like, I'm blazing up. Like, I'm always smoking. You know what I'm saying? But like, some people don't know how to don't know how to separate the vibe from the party. See, like, the vibe is like what I need to feel comfortable, what I need to meditate to feel like, all right, this the joint. You know what I'm saying? I can rock. As opposed to the party is like, yo, you really didn't get but one song done if you got
in 8 hours.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You got a whole bunch of people in there just drinking, smoking, turning up. It's like, nah, that's album release party vibes. You know what I'm saying? That's private listening session vibes. But like, when you in there to work, you gotta work. And I don't think, a lot of new artists or people coming into the craft in general, especially younger ones, understand like, yo, you have to have some type of work ethic, yo. Like, It's not just all fun and games. It's not just all turn up. Like, you gotta get to that part. You gotta get there. You know what I mean?
But even with the quote turn up, let's be very clear. The cars, the houses, the jewelry is rented. That y'all see.
Yo, a lot of times, more
Like
times than none, yeah.
this is not their style. Like, this is what they're they're coming in, they're playing with it, and they're going right back home, and
and
they're
let's
going
be
right back to the store.
and like on some on like deeper facts. Let's just say for some of those people that it is real. You know what I'm saying? Like they really did go out and buy this shit. It's stupid. It's very dumb. And like this is what me and Keisha where Keisha comes in at. You know what I mean? And bro, like I be trying to tell people all the time, like you have to be smart with your money. Like being an artist, we don't have regular 9 to 5s. We don't. Most of us don't. You know what I'm saying? We don't have no solid backup until you learn. Like, all right, I got to develop another craft or something. So when you get a big bag and you go blow it on these cars, you go blow it on this jewelry, which is the most of the time. You gotta set yourself up for some type of bounce back, because if you don't, that album don't hit the way it's supposed to. Those tours, which is where your real money come in at, those tours don't fall together the way they supposed to. You're gonna be hurting. You're gonna be hurting. You're gonna be lost, man. So it's like, do not fall into the facade. Like, stick to your business, stick to your plan, stick to your script.
Exactly. And it's like, I say that to say, like, he wasn't there trying to attain all the stuff that these people don't even own for the most part. And the ones that do, you might see it occasionally, but they're not flashing it. They're not doing the money phone, which is absolutely insane to me. I never understood that mess. They're not, they're not flashing every single card that they have. You might see it occasionally, like you might see it on a cribs or something, but even then it's rare, right? Like I went to Tiffany's when I was in New York, and they went down the list of like who wore this diamond and brought it back.
Yeah.
Nobody owns this. We lend it out so people can look it on the red carpet, and then they come to get back home.
Yeah,
that's
like when you get around rich and famous people,
Oscars and all that. That's what Trump did.
When you get around real wealthy people, right? Nope, it's not. Like they don't buy that stuff. They know the real cost of it. They know the real worth of it. They know that it's not important. So yeah, they know what it leads to when you wear it, when you show that stuff off. But nah, a lot of that stuff is rented, worn one time, given right back. You know what I mean? Promotional items. But we, until you reach a certain level of people, I'll say that, because most of us are still in the neighborhood. Once you start going around real famous people, real wealthy people, because there's different levels to them too, you'll start to understand, like, oh, I bet this was a facade. This is how you really supposed to move.
Exactly. Because people that have real money, you wouldn't know because they are quiet. They usually have a very basic car. They have a car. They have that you see, like they have one car they'll used to go out, right?
Yeah.
Even when they fancy or whatever, but or they'll have it, or they have a driver. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's this huge facade, especially social media, because now you can change out backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. People acting like they on vacation and all this, which is insane. But a lot of people do this, and it's all just for the look, as opposed to just living life and working for it. That's the thing about it. Because can you go on all these different vacations? Absolutely. There are ways to save up and do it right. But don't, when it comes, I say the same thing when it comes to holidays every year. Don't go broke to figure out what happens. Like, don't go broke over the holidays to figure out what's going to happen in January. What sense does that make? Tell your children, if you want to tell them about Santa, and be like, well, Santa on a budget. If you want to do it that way. Or if you want to be honest and be like, look, the little white man on the North Pole, he ain't doing this. We're the ones taking care of this. If you want to play along, that's fine. But I'm gonna need you to understand that you can't get everything that you want this year.
Nope.
You can stretch it out to whatever, but have reasonable. Like that was my parents' biggest thing. Have something reasonable that we can afford. We're not gonna go broke trying to get you stuff. That's not it.
Nah, not at all.
No, we don't do. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. And people think that kids can't understand money. They do understand the word no. They understand we just don't have it right now. You can't give your children every single thing that they want because they won't know how to work for it.
Nope. Nope. Gotta teach them discipline. Gotta teach them the real facts of life. You know what I mean? And then also with that, gotta teach them how to spend money, how to make money. Like these are all things that me and Keisha and them go through. Will go over with ours all the time. So,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Definitely trying to change the narrative for our culture at least. You know what I mean? Financial literacy is the way.
Oh, definitely, because that's the one thing that we did not get in school at
Not
all.
at all. Not at all.
Like, you know, but what's funny is that we didn't get financial literacy in school, but as soon as most people got to college, they got all the credit cards in the world.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. And that's the craziest time. That's when you need it the most. As soon as you leave the house, that's when all of these offers for credit and things come to hit you. And if you use it properly, it could set you up great for the rest of your life. But if you don't, and you in trouble. You in big trouble.
But that's where the whole financial literacy comes in. Like most
Yeah.
most kids, like, oh, you gave me $3,000 to do X, Y, Z, got it, boom. Forget they have to pay it back.
That part.
That's the problem. That's the problem. Is that because they're not getting the financial literacy, they get this plastic like, wait, I don't have to pay for it now. I can pay for it. I can pay for it later. I'll worry about that later. And then you get all these fees upon fees upon fees because they didn't have to put a cash out right now.
Right.
So now they're like, oh, this plastic gonna save me, whatever. And then they get that bill and they're like, oh, I forgot about all that stuff. Please. Now your credit's messed up because you were just on a shopping spree, thinking you was gonna pay it back whenever, and not understanding how all of that works.
Yeah.
But like I said, we have so many myths when it comes to money. Money is the root of all evil, which you have to stop telling people that because that's not exactly how it works.
Nope.
But it depends in the wrong hands. It can be, obviously.
It
But
depends what you do with the money.
Having that mentality is what's keeping people broke. Period.
Yep. That's what they tell all of us to keep us broke. But like you said, it depends on what you do with the money. You know what I mean? That's what makes it evil.
Yeah. If you're using your money to help people, if you're using your money to, grow and thrive, that's one thing. When you're using the money to harm people is where the problem comes in.
That's exactly right.
Like I said, I think, and when it comes to the music game, I think rappers get a bad rap because of the fact of what the media portrays rappers to be. Now, mind you, if people started listening to hip hop back in the 70s, 80s, it was all about Black empowerment. It was all about growing and thriving and not taking abuse from authority figures and speaking up for yourself.
Yeah, that's honestly enough. That's
because
why
that message isn't profitable, apparently.
No, I mean it's not in a mainstream way, but that's why I love artists like L.A. Russell, J. Cole.
Yes.
Like they make it known, like, bro, I'm not about to be with the flashy jig. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to do all that.
Right,
but
exactly.
They also showed it that you can make a bag off this. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all about how you maneuver in this new wave, in this new area of life.
Exactly.
So for me, keeping that in mind, like, people be like, yo, you're a conscious rapper. For me, it's just like, I just speak what I live, what I know. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And also, I'm not about to, I don't want to mislead nobody down the wrong path. So talking about all that crazy stuff, for me, it was never good to glorify it, no way.
Part.
If you look at all these artists that's going through legal troubles, it's called statute of limitations for a reason.
Ooh, so wait, hold on. And this is the one thing that I will say, because people are like, oh, it's about the artistry. I was like, it's not about the artistry if you actually did it. And you're confessing.
Man.
Like, it's no longer art if you've done it, you've told people about it, and then you went on tape and gave them a full confession and then all the FBI, CIA, whoever has to do with play your album to see where you did it, who you did it with, how many times you did it, what car you used, what gun you used.
Man, it's crazy because
you can't get mad because they're taking your evidence. They bought your album.
crazy thing.
You can't say it, but you've already said this to multiple people. That's why you have witnesses that can confirm what was said on your album. That's why you're in jail.
It's a tricky thing, man. And I was in a recent situation to where though like I took a break from doing my music for a couple of years because I had to get some things in order due to my grandmother passing. But the timing of her passing was just perfect in a sense because I was on tour with Young Thug. So
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So you know right here.
Right. So thank God I was moving, me and my brother Pluto Hendricks, we was moving how we were supposed to move. You know, it was only every time we went down there, every time we was on a show, it was perform, hit the studio, go home. And leave. That's it. You know, it was never no extracurriculars, nothing wild. And even the testament on Thug, you know what I'm saying? Like times I've been around him, times that, you know, we've moved around with each other. He was never on that type of stuff, like never on that type of time. So it's like, you know, to see the charges that come up, to see, you know, the things that they were bringing up, a lot of that stuff was like prior to his music life. You know what I mean? Like prior to him getting on. So I tell everybody, it's like, yo, like, you have to watch how you maneuver, yo. Like they will dig up the most deepest of dirt on you, bruh. And a lot of times it's you who caused that to come on you because you won't let go of this lifestyle. You won't let go of this image. You won't let go of this facade, so to speak. And living on both sides of the spectrum, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. You know, there's an ignorance with it because in that lifestyle, you think every day your last day anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You coming up off a whole different program than what most people came up off of. Like, that's where we get to talking about those intangibles. And sometimes talent don't get you there. Sometimes knowing who you need to know or having a bag will get you there, but you're not ready mentally to be there. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe you are talented enough to be there, but your mental either way ain't it. You know what I'm saying? You didn't get there off your talent. You got there off of something else. And
look, preach to him. Real talk. And that's the thing. It's like you have to be very careful how you get in. Like be very, very careful of, you know, because that can come back to bite you real quick.
Man, I had plenty of different opportunities to be there, to be in the light, you know what I mean, so to speak. Just not it, you know what I'm saying? Whether the deals wasn't right or the entourage they wanted me around wasn't cool, or just like it just wasn't time. Like this last, like I said, I was just in the Young Thug situation, and honestly enough, that situation was one of the coolest situations I ever been in, and not just about the people I was around, just how the business side was structured. And man, shout out to Thug and YSL, the label side, because they were really, you know, giving opportunities to other artists, you know what I'm saying? Giving opportunities to other labels the right way, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know how some of these artists that you know, seem like they out of pocket, like they out of their mind. They really not. They solid. They know what they're doing. They know how to move. They know how to get this stuff together. And I tell everybody, do not be fooled behind the smoke and mirrors, man. Like, it ain't it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't it at all. You're going to have some people that seem like they got it all together and don't got no motion at all. And you got some people that you'll come across and be like, damn, I would have never even thought to talk to you for real, let alone do it and work with you. So, you know, just I tell everybody.
Definitely, you know, and I'm you never know what you're gonna find out here at Danaya Azure Radio, you know, because I think the biggest thing when that comes to that case, I'm glad that you can attest to the fact that you know, being around him, that the structure was a beautiful thing, and the fact that he was supporting other artists. So that's great to hear. That's one thing you don't really get to hear is the more human side of the situation when that happens, right? And this is the problem that we have with our criminal justice system to begin with, is that whenever something happens, they always make everything out to be just the most horrible thing in the world, right? And you know, everybody has their things they've done in a previous life, you know. But this is why be very careful of what you do, what you say, and again, I go back to what you put on in your music, because yes, you're telling a story that was past tense. However, comma, now statute of limitations comes in. They're like, wait, we were looking for that person. And now we have the evidence because it's on record.
Yeah.
You just gotta be careful of what you say on your album. That's it.
Yeah. Especially with cold case files, everything else is like, man, listen, honestly enough, like I couldn't even find myself in a space of glorifying that lifestyle at all, because everything that I ever had to do was to get out of that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly that
you know what I mean? Yeah,
right,
so
and that's the misconception too. Like, you know, you go into these different environments and you see these young kids, young Caucasian kids, like blasting the music, having no clue what actually happened, having no clue what happened in that neighborhood to get people to that point. Because what I think people have this misconception of is that, if you're an African American community and the whole thing is all quote unquote hood and yada yada yada, not understanding what it took and how redlining works, not understanding how the school system, how the school to prison pipeline that people just started talking about 2 years ago. Yet I've been noticing that since I was 6. So like all these different things, that all these different components that make the quote unquote hood what it is, taxes, all of that. There are so many components that make the hood what it is and put it in different areas of different cities.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't understand. The misconception that what y'all see is on the news is such a small snippet, because they will literally come in, see something different, flip that script to make sure that you watch. They would come in, go to a positive event, flip that script completely, and find the one negative thing about it. Or go in, talk to all these people, 10 of them are intelligent, and pick the most ignorant motherfucker to be the one that they choose to put on camera because it makes you watch.
Yeah.
This is why.
It's all about streams and views.
It's all about streams and views. But I can attest to you. I can say for a fact that you don't need to do that to get streams and views, because this station gets millions of listeners on our app by being real, by having real conversations, by putting real people in the limelight, by putting music that we appreciate, whether it be independent or mainstream, by showing love to artists. We have this thing on my show called Next Legacy Honors, where we take 2 hours and take a mainstream artist that we absolutely love and give them and show them love for 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening. Can't no other station do that because their things are too restrictive, right? This is the thing. Like, people don't understand. If you are African American specifically, and it comes to the media, you have a job to do, and that is to change the narrative. If you're not changing the narrative, you're adding to it. And what are you doing for your children? Period.
That's facts. That's facts. And that's dope that y'all do that, man. Shouts out to y'all for what you do for artists and just the culture in general. Because like the whole thing about it is it's the name. So I have a brand called Start Small, Move Big. And the engine behind that is like, behind every major thing that moves is small pieces put together that helps.
I like. Okay.
You know what I mean? So to piggyback off of, how I met Keisha, why we was working together, the world is ran by finances. And that's the reasons why financial literacy is so important, is so you can understand things of why they want views over realness, you know what I'm saying? Or why the school to prison, the school to prison system is so prevalent, because the prison system is one of the biggest finances that they make in the US. Like They
Hold on,
make
wait.
so
Can you say
much
it again? For those in the back, can you say that one more time?
So the prison system is one of the biggest financial supports of the United States. Like literally, like they make almost 65 to 70% of the income of the U.S. So they got to keep us. They got to.
So wait. So now here we go. So if the prison system makes 65 to 70% of the money that's in the country, and we have over policing in areas that happen to be African American, Latino, right?
Yeah.
And we get charged for literally everything. I promise you. Like, like I'm still trying to understand how the whole cannabis thing works, because last time I checked, people were still locked up, and some people still getting billions of dollars from it. So, like, I have questions here, but I think you just made the reason why cannabis will never be legal in the country. It's not, because of the fact that they're making too much money putting people with non-violent offenses in jail for a drug that they know can save people's lives if you use it properly, right?
So that's the part. So the cannabis is a double-edged sword, and I'm a part of that too. And the first part of it is yes, they get a lot of criminal offenses off of cannabis alone, which is one of the reasons why. But the major reason why, remember I said this country is completely devoted to financial security. They will not let any dollar go by them. Cannabis grows into a plant called hemp. So cannabis alone has medicinal properties that we need, so on and so forth, correct, which would take care of pharma, which is their other biggest industry
we preaching today. Go ahead.
So they cancel pharma, and you let cannabis grow into this plant called hemp, which hemp makes clothes, brick, food. So let's think about that for a second. If each United States American citizen was allowed to grow cannabis and grow hemp, we would not need the government no more. Why? Because we can reenact the barter system. We could also do away with great pharma countries companies. The pharma companies would just delete, because there would be no need for them. Like cannabis alone produces, I think it was like anywhere between 80 to 95% of medicinal needs, whether it be the inhalation of the plant, the eating of the plant, the oils that you rub on your skin for the plant. RSO has been known to cure cancer. So it's like so many endless needs that cannabis would just check off the list. And then when you get into substantially making this country better as far as infrastructure, you could use hemp for anything. Clothes, building buildings, streets, whatever. So you do that, you take away the use of the government and any money that they could possibly make off of us. That's why they won't legalize cannabis.
You learn something new with Danaya Azure Radio every day. I tell the people, like, you're never gonna get the same old here, because I never had the same old. I got some very, I had no idea that you had this many extensive, amazing things about you. But shout out to Keisha, because that's definitely a phenomenal connection, no question.
Thank you, man. Yes, big shots out to Keisha, man, because like these are the conversations we would have that connected us, that made us build. You know what I mean? Like, like I'm an artist, but it's so many things to the show. You know what I mean? And people never know until you know. You know what I mean?
And it's funny because and that's why we got the dropping gems behind us, because we dropping gems like crazy. Period. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole thing about it is, people think artists are supposed to shove and dribble. You know what I'm saying? Like that was I still can't believe it, that somebody said this to LeBron James. I was like, do you know who you're talking to? What is wrong with y'all? Like, people get into different areas, whether it be sports, arts, whatever, right? For a platform to be able to speak when something's wrong. That's the purpose of us having platforms. Like, I could have just sat back and been like, yep, I'm just going to tune to my friend's show and say nothing. And I was like, wait, what? Oh, we can talk? Oh, okay. Let me go ahead and say my piece. And this is why Clubhouse is so important. the way the structure is now is a little tricky because it's like, it's different, right? But
Yeah,
when
I
we
haven't
first
been
got
on there
on
in a
there,
while, but I heard it's a little wonky now.
it's a little different. It's a little different now. Shout out to Clubhouse because you still can be connects. However, we got some questions. Because it's got the houses now, and it's hard to find people like you could before. But like the early Clubhouse, everybody was on there. But then it goes back to the fact of, I think the one part that happened was that people forgot that they were on an app that wasn't private.
Yeah.
And people just saying everything. I'm like, what is your PR gonna say when you get out of here? What are you doing right now? You are destroying your career. Hush up.
No bull.
Like in the blink of an eye, and I was like, you do know that there's an ability to record this, right? I know that you think you're not being recorded, but you are, and you messed up your whole career right now. You know what I'm saying? Everything going viral or whatever, because people in the room was like, ooh, they said that. No, but and this is the thing with social media. Social media is social. Everything pretty much is public.
Yep.
So be careful not to be careful what you post. Be careful what you like. Be careful what you repost, please, because people, they were like, "Oh, I'm just reposting my friends." What did you repost, and are you gonna get in trouble for it later?
Man, that's the crazy thing, man. The age of internet.
Yeah,
it's definitely undefeated, man.
Because people will literally go back 10 years and be like, "You said this in 2014." It's like, what did you say in 2014? Why would you say that? See, I'm a little bit different because I'm very strategic on what I know exactly what I'm posting. But some people just trying to stop posting when y'all drunk, please and thank you. Can we not? It just because you don't remember what you said or did, and then it's like you're trying to go back and backtrack and figure out how you got in trouble after that.
Yeah.
You want to be sober. Like we'll talk, you want to be sober when you're posting, when you're doing live videos, please. I would advise, unless you are at an event and you are getting paid to promote the drink, don't do that. Because it can mess up your audience. It can mess up a first impression of you. When it comes to artists, y'all may think it's cool, but that gun in the photo will talk you out of so many opportunities by just a look.
Man, people don't understand that. People do not understand that. Wants the wrong type of attention.
It's the wrong type of attention. And what's sad is people be like, well, I'm a good person. I understand that. But the way your photo was set up, it says, I can't promote this to my audience. So if you're looking for actual opportunities with like real people, they're not going to give it to you.
I know, that's facts. I mean, even with like I said, I'm a cannabis enthusiast, so I had to dial down certain parts of my marketing and practice certain things better. You know what I mean? Like, even though I get my business done, to me, it's not as taboo to everybody else what cannabis is. So, but I have to keep in mind that it is taboo to certain people. Like, to certain people, it's not it. You know what I mean? So I got to be more mindful as I'm trying to grow my reach, so to speak, with my brand and other things that I'm doing in life. So it's definitely, you got to be mindful of what you do, man, especially in the age of internet. Everything can come back to get you.
Definitely right. Look, gotta be careful what you do, careful what you say. But I think the biggest thing and the best way to really get ahead as an artist or an entrepreneur is treat people with respect. Respect people's time. And treat people the way that you want to be treated. That's it. That's the golden rule is the golden rule for a reason.
The golden
treat
rule.
Treat people the way that you want to be treated. And that will help you to be able to thrive in this business and in life.
Every time.
So before we get out of here, I would be remiss if I didn't have you do some freestyle, because you say you do freestyle and you usually don't write a lot. So, let's do that real quick. But I'm going to give you the floor. Go ahead. You ready?
Flowing is easy. I do it like the wind breezy. Can't nobody top me. I'm dancing like Chris Breezy. moving on the way just to get mountains moving off Leafly. If they ain't get it, I'm blowing stuff off of Leafly. If you want to exceed, then you got to go and succeed better. Everything I do was moving just to get more cheddar. If they ain't get it, my blues are set off by Mo. Better. I had Spike Lee looking at me. Documentaries want me to clip and I see. They want me to move like I was pushing a T. But I can't do that because I'm pushing off me. That start small, move big to the data I deceased.
And that's what they call him, CBarz, because wow. Yeah, that was awesome.
I'm a little under the weather a little bit, but I couldn't get no excuses.
You still got bars though. You still got bars though, for sure. Yeah. So my last question for you will be: when everything is said and done, what do you want your legacy to be?
Oh man, I want my legacy to show that I was the best person that I could be. Great brother, great son, great father, great uncle. And that start small, move big will literally be known around the world for years to come. That's the legacy I want to leave. Like, you know, I can't have everybody's opinion be on the same fold, but as long as my family knows that, you know, I was a good man to them, and start small, move big is known around the world in a positive light, I'm cool. I'm good.
I love it. Go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you, follow you, and most importantly, book you.
Yes, ma'am. You can follow me, my music page at CBarz Music, just like that. That's on Instagram. You can follow my tax page where you can get the updates on upscale tax professionals and everything we're doing for y'all this year at Chris_upscale tax professionals. And yeah, I'm literally on everything. So you can YouTube me, look me up on Apple, Spotify, just type in C-BARZ and I'll pop up everywhere. And I do want to plug one thing if I could. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
So speaking of Start Small, Move Big, this year we're doing a hoodie drive for the homeless and underwhelming local communities. So I do have a GoFundMe up. If anybody want to go show love, show support, click one of those links in my bios. Danaya, if you want to, I'll send you the link too.
Absolutely, yes. We would definitely put that up on the website. No question.
Thank you. So we starting in the DMV area, and the goal is to every year expand outside of that. So I want to be able to take care of home this year. The next year, I want to come to somebody else's home. I want to take care of them in their city and their location. So let's keep it moving.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on. I truly appreciate you.
Man, thank you for having me. And I will be sharing this show because I love what your movement is about, man. Man, Keisha, thank you for putting me on. But thank you for having me on, and I really had a good time today.
Awesome sauce. Take care, everyone, and express what makes you unique.
Yeah.
Next Legacy.
Are you searching for the perfect gift? Or do you just need a unique statement piece for yourself? Well, either way, Danaya Azure help you out. What you need is the S4S jewelry collection by Danaya Designs for You. S4S stands for strictly for a stage. Stand out at your next photo or video shoot. Snag that magazine cover. Go from being a part-time extra to an actor or actress who stays booked. Or just be the talk of the town at every event. Danaya Designs for You jewelry is handcrafted and Chicago made for men, women, and children. To start your collection, simply go to www.danayaazure.com. That's www.danayaazure.com. That's www.danayaazure.com.
Next Next legacy.